بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
During external examination, the facial symmetry and the symmetry of the eyes and periocular structure is noted. Face turn and tilt can give important clue towards diagnosis of extraocular muscle and nerve dysfunction, bony and muscles abnormality of head and neck. The alignment and function of the lid apparatus is examined. Interpalpebral fissure is the width between the upper and the lower lid margin at the center. Upper lid covers 1 to 2 mm of the cornea at 12 o'clock with normal width of 9 to 11 mm in the center. The levator palpebrae superioris function is measured in upward and in downward gaze. The interpalpebral fissure is narrow in ptosis, blepharophimosis, photophobia, and is wider in retraction of the upper lid as in proptosis. The upper lid crease is examined, which is about 3 to 5 mm from the upper lid margin. The crease signifies normal levator function and is absent in congenital ptosis. The lid margins are looked for congestion, swelling, exudate, dandruff, scales, entropion and ectropion. There are 2 rows of eyelashes at the lid margin. These are examined for trichiasis, distichiasis, matting, madarosis. The medial canthus is examined for caruncle and lacrimal puncti. Local swelling, congestion and discharge should also be checked. For regurgitation test, patient is asked to look up and the lacrimal sac is pressed with fingertip and the discharge, if any, is observed. Examination of the anterior segment of the eye with a condensing lens. The patient is asked to look down. The upper lid and the lashes are grabbed between thumb and finger and with a gentle rotation is turned inside out with or without the help of a glass rod or non-traumatic stick swab. Eversion of the upper lid is an important maneuver to reveal abnormalities under the upper lid and upper fornix. The lid is then gently reverted back. The corneal diameters are measured with a caliper in horizontal and in vertical meridian. The cornea measures 11 to 12 mm. Any measurement less than 10 mm is microcornea and reading larger than 14 mm is megalocornea. Corneal staining with vital dyes is an important tool for diagnosing various corneal conditions. It detects the epithelial defects or ulcers of the cornea and conjunctiva. 2% fluorescein stain defects in the cornea. The color of the dye is orange, which appears green with cobalt blue light. (2% rose Bengal dye has more affinity for damaged and dying cells of the cornea and mucus as in keratoconjunctivitis sicca. The right eye is stained with rose Bengal and the left eye is stained with fluorescein. Before eliciting the pupillary reactions, the baseline examination of the pupil is important. The left eye pupil is myosed, whereas the right eye pupil is dilated. To elicit direct pupillary reaction, bright light is shown and response of the pupil is observed. For indirect response, light is shown in one eye and the pupil of the other eye is observed. Near fixation target in the form of a picture is preferred for near fixation testing. The position of the eyeball in primary position is noted for any misalignment or squint. The corneal light reflex or Hirschberg test indicate orthophoric position, and in squint the type of squint and rough guide to the degree of squint. The cover test is an essential basic objective test to diagnose squint. In cover test, one of the eye is occluded completely for distance and then for near distance at 33 cm. A Snellen test type for distance and a near vision test target is used as a focusing object. The uncovered eye is observed when one of the eye is covered, and the eye under cover is observed when the cover is removed. The procedure is repeated for near vision, and the degree of deviation, movement and recovery of the eye is noted. The alternate cover test is done in a similar fashion and is a useful guide for alternate squints. The use of prism bar accurately measures the angle and type of the squint. Retinoscopy or skyscopy is an objective method of measurement of the refractive error. It is extremely accurate when done correctly. The basic principle is to substitute lenses in front of the patient's eye so that the emerging rays from the patient's retina are brought to focus at the examiner's eye. The assessment is made in corresponding meridians, and the retinoscopic reflex movement is neutralized with appropriate lenses in front of the patient's eye. The automated refractometers are available now but are second to this method of refractive assessment. Inspection of the interior of the eye with a dilated pupil is fundamental to diagnosis and permits visualization of the optic disc, retinal vessels, retina and choroid. There are three methods, namely direct ophthalmoscopy, indirect ophthalmoscopy and biomicroscopy combined with non-contact neutralizing lenses of high power. Indirect ophthalmoscopy is performed by binocular indirect ophthalmoscope placed on examiner's head and a condensing lens having a power of 14 to 30 diopter is used. Image is formed between the lens and the examiner, and the image is inverted and laterally reversed with a larger field. The stereoscopic view has the advantage over direct ophthalmoscopy. To check the integrity of the nasociliary branch of ophthalmic division of trigeminal nerve, corneal sensitivity is checked with a cotton fiber individually. The intraocular pressure is checked in a number of ways, most conveniently but crudely with the digital fluctuation method. For contact tonometry, local anesthesia is used for the procedure. The Schwartz tonometer is an indentation tonometer that measures the amount of corneal deformation produced by a given force. The indentation measures the ease with which the globe is indented by the plunger of the instrument. The soft eye is easily indented, indicating a low pressure, whereas a hard eye is indented with greater difficulty. Either eye is checked, and in case of higher intraocular pressure, additional weight are added to the plunger and reading are checked. The amount of indentation on the instrument is read on the table chart in millimeter of mercury. The Goldmann applanation tonometer measures the force necessary to flatten a given area of the cornea. It is more accurate but requires greater experience. Fluorescein is used to stain the tears, and blue light is used to read the semicircle formed upon flattening of the cornea by the applanation prism. Reading is read at a drum towards the base of the tonometer. For assessment of the field of vision, one eye is checked at one time and the corresponding eyes of the examiner and the patient are blocked. The ability to recognize optotype diminishes rapidly in all directions away from the fovea centralis. The function of the extrafoveal retina is assessed by measurement of the field of vision in which the individual detects target that stimulate the retina at varying distance from the retina. Each quadrant is checked in good illumination with 1 meter distance between the patient and the examiner. Examiner then places hand midway between the subject and himself, and fingers are presented for counting. In this way, all the quadrants are checked and any abnormality present is noted. There are other methods available, but this is the quick method of visual field examination. The visual fields are quantitated by means of kinetic or static perimetry. Jerram screen is a kinetic perimetry of central field where visual field defects, particularly glaucoma field defects, are picked up. In this procedure, the test object of fixed size in controlled illumination is moved from non-seeing area to an area where it can just be seen by the subject. The patient is seated at 2 meters and the target is brought from periphery to the center. An area of missing field is plotted on the graph, which later on joins to create visual field defects. The color plates of Ishihara contains a number of basic colors mixed with confusion color in the surrounding. The test is read with best corrected vision and defects are noted and graded. Although there are other methods of color vision testing, but this is a handy method and it gives good results. Measurement of the visual acuity is the function of fovea centralis and its central connection. Visual test objects or optotype are constructed so that at particular distance the whole object subtend an angle of 5 minutes of an arc and different part of the object are separated by a distance of 1 minute of an arc. The test type is available in English, e-chart for illiterates, and picture presentation for children. The denominator is the distance at which the patient is sitting, and the numerator is the distance at which the test object subtend an angle of 5 minutes of an arc. The example is 6 by 6. Individual eye is checked for visual acuity, and patient is asked to read the letter from top to the bottom and note it down. In case the individual is not reading the top line, the distance between the patient and the test type is reduced progressively to 5, 4, 3 and then 2 meters. In case of non-reading, counting fingers are presented at 1 meter and then at 1 foot, failing which hand movement is presented, followed by perception and projection of light source in all quadrant. Pinhole test rule out organic ocular disease from pure refractive error. After the retinoscopy and neutralization, appropriate lenses are placed in front of the eye for subjective verification and finally prescribed if patient is comfortable. The near vision likewise is also tested one eye at a time with full correction and appropriate addition of lenses in presbyopia and advancing age is made. The near point of convergence or NPC is the nearest point on which the eye can maintain fixation. It is measured with RAF or Royal Air Force rule, which is placed on the chin of the patient, and the reading drum is slowly moved towards the patient until the eyes deviate or diplopia occurs. The near point of accommodation can also be checked with RAF rule when the reading print on the drum becomes blurred. The Placido keratoscopic disc detects the corneal curvature and pick up the corneal deformities. Overflow of the tears may represent lacrimation or epiphora. Lacrimation is caused by reflex lacrimal hypersecretion secondary to ocular inflammation or surface diseases. In these cases, watering is associated with symptoms of the underlying cause and treatment is usually medical. Epiphora, on the other hand, is due to compromised lacrimal drainage system. The possible causes are malposition of the lacrimal puncti, obstruction anywhere along the lacrimal drainage system from puncta to the nasolacrimal duct, and the failure of the lacrimal pump, which could be due to lower lid laxity or weakness of the orbicularis oculi. Diagnostic and therapeutic dilatation and probing of the system is useful and gives valuable information of the level of pathology.